Influence is one of the most valuable skills you can ever learn. It shapes your relationships, your opportunities, and even how people treat you. Most people think influence is about power, status, or speaking loudly. But the real influence comes from understanding people, what they feel, what they need, and how they think. When you learn how to connect with people on a deeper level, doors start opening that you never knew existed. You gain respect without forcing it. You earn trust without asking for it. And you move through life with confidence, because you understand how to guide conversations and inspire others. This audiobook will teach you how to build real influence by mastering simple habits that change how people see you. If you want to grow, succeed, and lead, listen closely. And before we begin, make sure to subscribe to the channel so you never miss the ideas that can transform your future. Let's start. Chapter 1. Understanding what influence really means. Influence is something you feel before you understand it. You notice it when someone walks into a room and people listen. You notice it when a quiet person speaks and everyone pays attention. You notice it when certain people are able to convince others easily, while some try for years and never get the same response. Influence is not magic. It's not luck. And it's not about being loud or overpowering others. Influence is a skill. And like all skills, you can learn it with patience, practice, and awareness. Most people grow up thinking influence is manipulation. They think influencing people means tricking them or pushing them to do something they don't want to do. But real influence is the opposite. Real influence is helping people trust you, like you, and feel safe around you. When people trust you, they listen. When they listen, they follow. And when they follow you willingly, that is influence at its highest form. You don't force them. You guide them. And they choose to walk with you. To master influence, you must first understand how people work. People are emotional beings. Almost every decision humans make is based on emotion first, and logic second. They buy based on emotion, they follow based on emotion, they support based on emotion. Even when someone thinks they made a logical choice, emotion played a bigger part than they realize. If you learn to understand emotions, you learn to understand influence. Influence begins with connection. Without connection, you can't influence anyone. People must feel like you understand them. They must feel like you respect them. They must feel like you see them as valuable. When you make someone feel valued, they naturally become open to listening to you. Think about your own life. You listen more closely to people who make you feel seen. You take advice more easily from people who treat you with respect. You follow people who care. This is the foundation of influence. There are people who try to influence others without caring about them. They use pressure or fear or authority. That may work for a moment, but it never lasts. Influence built on fear disappears when the fear disappears. Influence built on pressure disappears when the pressure stops. But influence built on connection lasts for a lifetime. People remember how you made them feel, not the words you said. If you make them feel respected, understood, and appreciated, they will listen to you even when you are far away. Understanding influence also means understanding the difference between attention and respect. Many people confuse being loud with being influential. They think if everyone hears them, they have influence. But attention is temporary. Respect is permanent. You don't want people to just hear you. You want people to value you. That is the difference between noise and influence. Noise gets noticed. Influence gets remembered. Influence also works in silence. Some of the most influential people speak less than others. But when they speak, their words matter because they choose them carefully. They don't waste words. They don't brag. They don't talk just to fill silence. They speak with intention. And when someone speaks with intention, people feel it. They listen because they sense weight behind the words. The secret is simple. Influence grows from who you are, not just what you say. The strongest influence comes from character. When people see that you are honest, consistent, and dependable, they trust you. When you keep your word, they trust you more. When you treat people well, even when there is no reward, your influence grows quietly. Influence built on character is unshakable. People also follow confidence. But confidence does not mean acting like you know everything. Confidence means being comfortable with who you are. It means speaking clearly, standing tall, and not shrinking when life gets hard. Confident people influence others because they give off a sense of safety. When you look secure, others feel secure around you. When you appear calm, others become calm. Influence begins when your presence changes the atmosphere of room. To understand influence deeply, you must understand something else. People don't follow instructions. They follow feelings. They follow energy. They follow people who inspire them. They follow people who give them hope. They follow people who speak to their dreams, not their fears. The fastest way to influence someone is to make them feel understood. When someone feels understood, they begin to trust you, and trust is the heart of influence. Think about the people you admire. Think about the people who inspired you at some point in your life. They influenced you not because they forced you, but because they touched something inside you. Maybe they believed in you when no one else did. Maybe they encouraged you when you were unsure. Maybe they showed you a new way of thinking. Maybe they gave you advice that helped you grow. Their influence came from the feeling they gave you. Influence is also based on listening. People think influence is about talking, but the truth is the opposite. Good listeners influence others more than good talkers. When you truly listen to someone, without interrupting, without judging, they feel respected, they feel valued. They feel important, and when someone feels important with you, they naturally become open to your ideas. Listening builds influence because it shows humility. When you listen more than you talk, people sense that you care about their thoughts, not just your own. They see that you are not trying to control the conversation. You are trying to understand, and understanding creates connection. Connection creates trust. Trust creates influence. Influence also means being adaptable. Different people respond to different styles of communication. Some people prefer direct words, some prefer gentle words, some prefer stories, some prefer facts. The more you learn about people, the better you become at adjusting your approach. You do not change who you are. You simply speak in a way that the other person can receive. That is emotional intelligence, and emotional intelligence makes you powerful. People are influenced by those who understand what they need in the moment. Sometimes people need encouragement. Sometimes they need clarity. Sometimes they need a push. Sometimes they need comfort. Sometimes they need silence. Knowing what someone needs is what separates weak influence from strong influence. You become influential when you can read people well. Influence is also shaped by your presence. Your body language speaks before your words do. People notice your posture, your facial expressions, your tone, your energy. You may think you're being quiet, but your energy speaks loudly. If your energy is calm, people feel calm. If your energy is anxious, people feel anxious. If your energy is confident, people feel confident around you. You influence people through your presence before you even speak. Your presence becomes stronger when you know yourself. When you know your values, your purpose, and your strengths, you carry yourself differently. You don't get shaken easily. You don't react emotionally. You don't get pulled into arguments. You stay centered. When people see that you are steady, they trust you more. And trust feeds influence. Influence also grows when you make others feel good about themselves, not fake compliments, not empty praise, but genuine appreciation. When you notice the good in someone and express it honestly, they feel uplifted, they feel seen, and they naturally lean toward you. When you bring out the best in others, they follow you because they associate you with growth. One misunderstood part of influence is that people think they need to talk a lot to influence others. The truth is the opposite. Influence grows in the pauses. Influence grows in the moments when you let others speak. Influence grows when you choose your words carefully. Influence grows when you create space for others to express themselves. You don't influence by dominating. You influence by elevating others. Influence also means consistency. If you behave one way today and another way tomorrow, people will not know what to expect from you. But if you are steady and predictable in your values, people feel safe with you. They know who you are. They know what you stand for. They know how you will behave. Consistency builds trust. And trust is the foundation of influence. To truly influence others, you must also control your reactions. People respect those who remain calm under pressure. They respect those who do not explode in anger or fall apart when things go wrong. When you stay composed, people look up to you. They see you as someone who can handle challenges, someone who can lead, someone who can be trusted. The truth is, influence is not an act. It's a lifestyle. It's the way you speak, the way you listen, the way you treat people, the way you carry yourself, and the way you react during difficult moments. People are watching more than they are listening. They notice your patterns. They notice your character. They notice your decisions. Influence is built slowly, quietly, through everyday actions. By understanding influence, real influence, you gain the power to guide conversations, inspire others, build stronger relationships, and create opportunities that once felt impossible. Influence allows you to move through life with more confidence, more clarity, and more purpose. Influence is not about controlling people. It's about connecting with them, understanding them, and inspiring them. When you master influence, you master one of the most important skills in life. Influence is not for a select few. It's for anyone willing to learn, observe, practice, and grow. And the journey begins with understanding what influence really means. Not power over others, but power within yourself. Chapter 2. How to build trust. The foundation of influence. Trust is the heart of influence. Without trust, your words feel empty, your advice sounds weak, and your presence carries no weight. But when people trust you, everything changes. They listen more closely. They follow more willingly. They open up more easily. Trust is the invisible bridge that connects hearts and minds. And once you build it, your influence becomes strong and steady. Trust is not something you can demand. It's something you earn, slowly, through your actions. People watch what you do far more than they listen to what you say. They notice the little things you think no one sees. They pay attention to your tone, your reactions, and your consistency. Every small action either adds to your trust or takes away from it. The journey to building trust starts with honesty. Honesty doesn't mean being harsh, rude, or brutally direct. It means being truthful in a way that respects others. It means speaking clearly without hiding your intentions. It means doing what you say you will do. When your words match your actions, people feel safe around you. They don't have to guess who you are or what you mean. They can relax because they know your truth is steady. But honesty is not just about words, it's about the way you carry yourself. People can sense when someone is pretending or being fake. They can feel when someone is trying too hard or acting in a way that doesn't feel natural. Authenticity builds trust faster than anything else. When you show up as yourself, without trying to impress or imitate, people feel more comfortable. They feel your sincerity. And sincerity is the strongest glue in human relationships. Trust also grows through reliability. Reliability means you show up when you say you will. You meet your commitments. You finish what you start. You stay steady even when things get difficult. When people know they can count on you, their respect for you grows automatically. You don't even have to ask for trust. Your actions earn it for you. Think about the people you trust most in life. They're not perfect. They make mistakes. They have flaws like everyone else. But you trust them because they have shown consistency. Their character stays the same, no matter the situation. They show loyalty. They keep their word, and they stand by you when it matters. That's what makes them trustworthy. If you want influence, you must learn to be consistent. People pay attention to patterns. If your behavior changes based on your mood, your trust becomes unstable. But if you stay steady even on difficult days, people will feel safe with you. Safety builds trust, and trust builds influence. Another part of trust is respect. People trust those who show them respect. Even in small ways, respect is shown through listening, patience, and kindness. When you listen without interrupting, people feel respected. When you respond without anger, people feel safe. When you show patience, people feel valued. These actions might seem small, but they make a huge difference. Listening is one of the strongest expressions of respect. When someone talks to you and you give them your full attention, they feel heard. They feel important. And trust grows naturally from that feeling. Most people listen only to reply. Influential people listen to understand. They are fully present. Their attention is not divided. They don't check their phone, look around, or drift off. They give people the gift of true listening. Trust also grows through empathy. Empathy is the ability to understand how someone feels, even if you haven't experienced their situation. When you show empathy, you connect with people on a deeper level. You make them feel seen. You make them feel understood, and when people feel understood, they trust you more. Empathy does not require perfect solutions. It simply requires presence and understanding. Sometimes just saying, "I understand why you feel this way," is enough to build a powerful connection. Influence grows in environments where trust exists. That's why people who use fear or dominance never achieve lasting influence. They may control others for a short time, but never truly influence them. Trust lasts. Fear fades. Trust builds. Fear destroys. If you want people to follow you willingly, choose trust. If you want people to believe in you long-term, build trust. Trust also depends on emotional control. People trust those who can control their emotions, especially during stressful moments. When you stay calm under pressure, people see strength in you. When you remain respectful during conflicts, people admire your maturity. When you stay kind even when you're upset, people feel secure. Emotional control is influence. It tells people you can handle challenges, and that makes them look up to you. Another important factor in building trust is transparency. Transparency means being open about your intentions. It means explaining your decisions clearly. It means not hiding the truth when something goes wrong. When you admit mistakes instead of covering them up, people trust you more. When you take responsibility instead of blaming others, people respect you more. Transparency removes doubt, and doubt is the enemy of trust. Trust also grows from fairness. People trust those who treat everyone fairly, not just certain people. When you treat everyone with equal respect, no matter their status, background, or position, your influence expands. People feel safe with someone who does not play favorites. Fairness creates a sense of balance, and balance creates trust. There is another part of trust that many people ignore: privacy. When someone shares something personal with you, how you handle that information determines how much they trust you. If you protect their privacy, your trust grows. If you share their secrets or talk behind their back, that trust breaks instantly. Protecting someone's privacy is one of the quickest ways to build deep influence. Trust also grows when you take genuine interest in people. People can feel the difference between genuine interest and politeness. Genuine interest means asking meaningful questions. It means remembering small details about someone. It means caring about their feelings, their goals, their fears, and their dreams. When people feel that you care about them as real human beings, they naturally trust you more. Influence is not about trying to impress people. Trust does not grow through showing off. Trust grows through quiet strength. It grows through your character, your values, and your consistency. When your actions match your words, people trust you. When you make promises and keep them, people trust you. When you show up every time with honesty and kindness, people trust you. Sometimes trust is built through silence. When you don't react too quickly, when you think before speaking, when you stay calm instead of exploding, when you allow someone to talk without jumping in. Silence can show maturity. Silence can show emotional strength. Silence can show wisdom, and people trust those who show wisdom. To build trust, you must also avoid unnecessary judgment. When people feel judged, they close themselves off. When they feel accepted, they open up. Acceptance is not agreement. You don't have to agree with someone to treat them with respect, but when people feel accepted by you, they trust you more. They feel safe sharing their feelings, ideas, and mistakes with you. Another truth about trust is that it takes time to build and a moment to break. One dishonest act can destroy years of trust. One lie can damage your influence. One broken promise can change how people see you. That's why integrity is so important. Integrity means doing the right thing even when no one is watching. It means choosing honesty even when lying seems easier. It means remaining loyal even when you are tempted otherwise. Influence that comes from trust lasts the longest and grows the deepest. It creates strong relationships. It opens doors, it builds opportunities. People recommend you, people support you, people uplift you. Not because you ask, but because they trust you. Trust creates loyalty, and loyalty creates influence. At the heart of trust is consistency. If you can be steady in your actions, steady in your emotions, steady in your principles, steady in your promises, you will naturally become influential. People follow steady people. People rely on steady people. People open up to steady people, and steady people build trust effortlessly. Trust is not built overnight. It does not happen quickly. But every small, honest action, every respectful conversation, every moment of patience, every promise kept, adds one more brick to the foundation of trust. And once that foundation is strong, your influence becomes unshakable. To influence people deeply, begin with trust. Earn it slowly. Protect it fiercely. And never take it for granted, because trust is the foundation that everything else stands on. When trust is strong, influence flows naturally. Chapter 3. The subtle power of body language. Before you say a single word, your body has already spoken. People read you without even trying. They notice how you stand, how you move, how you look at them, and how your energy fills the space. Body language is silent, but it communicates louder than anything you say. If you want to influence others, you must understand this silent language. Most people think influence comes from speaking well, but speaking is only one part of communication. Your body sends messages all the time. It tells people if you're confident or nervous, honest or unsure, open or closed. When your body language is strong, people feel your presence before your voice even begins. And when your body language is weak, people sense that too. People trust what they see more than what they hear. If your words say one thing but your body says something else, people will believe your body. That's why mastering body language is so important. It creates trust, respect, and influence without you needing to force anything. Your presence is the first thing people notice. When you enter a room with calm posture, steady movements, and balanced energy, people feel it. Humans are naturally sensitive to energy. If you walk in rushed, tense, or distracted, the room feels it. If you walk in with quiet confidence, the room feels that too. Influence begins the moment you show up. Confidence in body language does not mean acting loud or aggressive. Real confidence is calm. It is steady. It is controlled. Confident people don't rush. They don't fidget. They don't hide behind nervous habits. Their movements are slow, intentional, and grounded. The way you carry yourself tells people how you see yourself, and they respond accordingly. Standing tall is one of the most powerful things you can do. When you stand straight, your body communicates strength and certainty. When you slouch, your body communicates doubt. Your spine affects your presence more than you realize. Tall posture makes your energy feel bigger, clearer, and more stable. People naturally look toward those who stand tall because they appear grounded. Your shoulders also say a lot. Tight, raised shoulders show stress. Relaxed shoulders show calm. When your shoulders are relaxed, people sense that you are comfortable with yourself. Comfort creates trust. When you look comfortable, others feel comfortable with you. Influence grows in comfortable spaces. The way you move is just as important as the way you stand. Quick, jittery movements suggest nervousness. Slow, intentional movements suggest confidence. People trust those who move with clarity. When you move too fast, people sense chaos. When you move too slow, people sense hesitation. But when you move with a natural, controlled rhythm, people sense balance. Your eyes communicate more than your voice ever will. Eye contact is one of the strongest tools of influence. When you look someone in the eyes with steady, calm attention, they feel seen, they feel respected, they feel important. But there is a balance. Too much eye contact can feel aggressive. Too little eye contact can feel uncertain. The key is a natural, soft connection, not staring, not avoiding, but acknowledging. When someone speaks to you and you look at them with full attention, they trust you. They relax their guard. They feel safe to express themselves. That safety creates influence. Eye contact says, "I am present," and presence is influence. Your facial expressions also speak loudly. A relaxed face communicates ease. A warm expression communicates openness. A tense face communicates stress. People mirror the facial expressions of those around them. If you look anxious, they feel anxious. If you look calm, they feel calm. Influence begins with emotional control. A simple, warm smile can change the entire direction of a conversation, but it must be genuine. People can sense a fake smile instantly. A real smile softens the room. It lowers defenses. It shows kindness. It creates connection without saying a word. Your hands also send messages. Nervous hands shake or fidget. Confident hands rest calmly. When you gesture naturally, people feel your sincerity. When your hands move too much or too little, people feel tension. The goal is not to perform with your hands, but to let them express your natural intention. Slow, open gestures make you appear honest and composed. The distance you keep from people also influences how they feel about you. Too close, and people feel crowded. Too far, and they feel disconnected. Finding the right distance creates comfort. Comfort builds trust, and trust builds influence. Understanding personal space shows emotional intelligence. People follow those who make them feel comfortable and respected. Tone is also part of body language, even though it's not physical. Your tone carries your emotions. You can say the same words in two different tones and create two completely different reactions. A steady, warm tone builds connection. A sharp tone breaks connection. A calm tone communicates confidence. A rushed tone communicates anxiety. People react to tone before they react to meaning. Silence is another part of body language that many people overlook. Silence holds power. When you're not afraid of silence, people sense strength. Silence gives weight to your presence. It gives your words more impact. When you speak without rushing, your voice feels more grounded. When you pause naturally, people feel your confidence. Influential people do not fill every second with words. They allow silence to breathe. The way you listen is also body language. When someone talks to you and your body is still relaxed and open, they feel heard. When you lean slightly forward, they feel your attention. When you nod gently, they feel your understanding. People follow those who make them feel understood. Listening is an invisible influence tool many people never learn. Body language also reflects your inner world. If your mind is nervous, your body shows it. If your mind is calm, your body shows that too. Influence grows when your inside and outside match. People can sense emotional alignment. When your words, tone, and body match your intention, people listen. When they don't match, people sense something is off. Even if they can't explain it, they feel it. To influence others, you must first influence yourself. You must learn to control your own breathing, posture, and energy. Slow breathing calms your body and makes your presence stronger. Balanced posture gives you quiet authority. Steady energy makes people relax around you. When you master yourself, others naturally respond to you differently. Influence through body language is not about pretending. It is not about performing. It is about becoming more aware of yourself and choosing how you want to show up. You don't force influence, you allow it to grow from your presence. Influence built on presence lasts longer than influence built on words. People watch you more than they listen to you. They watch how you walk, how you sit, how you greet others. They watch how you react under stress. They watch how you treat people who can't offer you anything. These small observations shape their trust and respect for you over time. Influence is built quietly through these moments. Many people try to influence others through arguments, debates, or pressure. But body language influences without resistance. When your presence is strong, people listen willingly. They take you seriously without you asking for it. They follow your lead because your calmness makes you feel like a leader. The more you pay attention to your body language, the more influence you naturally develop. When you stand tall, people feel confidence. When you speak slowly, people feel clarity. When you listen deeply, people feel respect. When you smile genuinely, people feel warmth. These small actions create powerful influence. Body language also shapes how you feel about yourself. When you change the way you stand, you change the way you think. When you lift your head, your mind lifts too. When you breathe deeply, your thoughts calm down. When your posture is strong, your confidence rises. You influence yourself first, and then others follow. When you master your body language, you don't need to push for influence. People come to you naturally. They trust you faster. They listen more carefully. They open up more freely. Influence becomes effortless because it grows from the inside out. Influence through body language is subtle, quiet, and powerful. It does not shout. It does not force. It does not demand. It guides. It supports. It connects. And when you combine strong body language with honesty, kindness, and emotional intelligence, you become someone others want to follow, not because they have to, but because they feel safe and inspired around you. This is the silent language of influence, and once you master it, you will communicate more with your presence than you ever could with words. Chapter 4. The art of listening. That makes people follow you. Listening seems simple. Everyone knows how to hear words, but very few know how to truly listen. Hearing and listening are not the same. Hearing is automatic. Listening is deliberate. Hearing is physical. Listening is emotional. When you hear someone, you get the words. When you truly listen, you get the meaning, the feeling, and the person behind the words. And that is where influence begins. If you want to influence people, you must first understand them. And the only way to understand someone is to listen with your full attention. People follow those who make them feel understood. They open up to those who create space for them. They trust those who hear what they don't say. This is why listening is one of the most powerful tools of influence. Most people don't listen. They wait to speak. They think about their reply while the other person is still talking. They interrupt without realizing it. They nod, but don't absorb anything. They focus on their own thoughts instead of the other person's feelings. When someone senses that you are only half listening, they close up, they stop sharing, and influence disappears. Real listening is different. Real listening is full presence. It means putting your phone away, clearing your distractions, and focusing completely on the person in front of you. Your eyes are on them. Your mind is on them. Your attention is on them. When you do this, the other person feels it instantly. It doesn't matter if you speak or not. Your presence speaks for you. Listening is influence, because people crave to be understood. Most people walk through life feeling unseen, unheard, and unnoticed. When they find someone who listens without judgment, they feel safe, and when they feel safe, they let you into their world. That is influence, not control, but connection. Listening also makes people feel important. Every human being, no matter their age or background, wants to feel valued. When you give someone your full attention, you give them value. You tell them, without words, that they matter. When someone feels valued by you, they naturally want to value you back. That creates loyalty. One of the strongest forms of listening is silence. When someone speaks and you stay quiet, not rushing them, not cutting them off, not filling the silence, you give them space to express themselves fully. Silence is powerful because it shows patience, it shows respect, and it shows confidence. Only confident people can stay comfortable in silence. Another part of listening is empathy. Empathy is the heart of influence. It's the ability to feel with someone, not just for them. It means understanding their emotions, even if you haven't lived their experiences. When you listen with empathy, you connect with people on a deeper level. You pick up on their tone, their pauses, their expressions, their breath. You hear the emotion behind the words. Sometimes people don't need solutions. They need understanding. They need someone who hears their pain without trying to fix it. They need someone who can sit with them in their fear, their worry, or their confusion. When you listen this way, they trust you more than anyone who rushes to give answers. Influence is not about solving everything. It's about being the person someone believes in. Listening also helps you read people better. When you pay close attention to their words and their body language, you begin to understand their patterns. You see what excites them, what scares them, what motivates them, and what frustrates them. This awareness makes you influential because you can respond in the way they need, not the way you assume. People follow those who understand them. The tone you listen with matters too. If you listen with impatience, people sense it. If you listen with judgment, they pull back. If you listen with arrogance, they shut down. But if you listen with warmth, curiosity, and care, they open up. They feel safe sharing their truth. And people follow those who make them feel safe. Listening also strengthens your decisions. The more you understand people, the better choices you make. You guide conversations more effectively. You handle conflicts more smoothly. You give better advice. You build relationships that last. Influence grows naturally when your decisions are rooted in understanding instead of assumptions. One thing that makes listening challenging is the ego. The ego always wants to speak. The ego wants to be right, to be heard, to be admired. The ego hates silence. But influence requires humility, not ego. Humility says, "Let me understand you first." When you put your ego aside and give someone space to express themselves, you gain far more influence than if you try to dominate the conversation. Listening also improves your communication. When you listen deeply, your responses become better. You choose your words more carefully. You speak with accuracy instead of guessing. You communicate in a way that matches the other person's emotional state. And because your words match their inner world, they connect with you more strongly. Another reason listening creates influence is because it helps you avoid misunderstandings. When you listen carefully, you don't jump to conclusions. You don't make false assumptions. You don't respond to something they didn't mean. You take time to understand first. That saves relationships. That avoids conflict. That builds trust. And trust makes influence stronger. Listening also teaches you patience. Patience is one of the quiet signs of strong character. People feel safe around patient people. They don't feel rushed or judged. When someone feels rushed, they hide things. When someone feels judged, they pretend. But when someone feels safe, they show you their true self. Once you see someone's true self, you know how to influence them better. Good listening also requires managing distractions. Our minds move fast, thoughts jump in constantly. But when you focus your mind on the person speaking, your influence grows. They see that you chose to give them your time and your attention. And time is the most valuable gift you can give someone. When you give your time willingly, people give you their respect. Listening also shows emotional strength. People who talk too much often talk out of insecurity. They fear silence because silence exposes their thoughts. But people who can listen comfortably show emotional maturity. They don't need to prove anything. They don't need to take control. Their calmness gives them authority. That calm authority is influence. True listening involves noticing the things people don't say. Sometimes the truth hides between their sentences. It hides in their pauses, in their hesitations, in the cracks in their voice. When you learn to hear those silent messages, your understanding becomes deeper than most. This depth makes your influence stronger than words ever could. Influential people listen to learn, not to reply. They listen with curiosity. They listen with respect. They listen with patience. They listen with calmness. And because they listen deeply, they speak less, but say more. Their words carry weight because they come from understanding. Listening also allows you to guide conversations more naturally. When you listen, you know exactly what to say next. You can ask the right questions, offer the right thoughts, and steer the conversation in a meaningful direction. You don't need to push, you simply respond to what the other person is giving you. Influence flows through the conversation instead of forcing it. Listening builds emotional bonds that make people loyal. When you listen to someone during their difficult moments, they remember it for years. When you listen to someone's dreams, they trust you with their future. When you listen to someone's fears, they trust you with their truth. These bonds make influence long-lasting and deep. Listening is not a tactic. It's a way of being. It shows your maturity, your empathy, and your character. When you master the art of listening, you don't chase influence. Influence comes to you. People seek you out. People want your advice. People look for your presence. People trust you naturally. Imagine being someone who makes others feel understood every time they talk to you. Imagine being the person people come to for guidance, comfort, or clarity. Imagine being the person whose calm listening changes the atmosphere of a room. This is the power listening gives you. It makes you a leader without needing a title. It makes you influential without needing to speak loudly. Listening is a superpower hiding inside everyone. Most people never develop it, but those who do become unforgettable. They become trusted. They become respected. They become influential. This is how you influence people, by hearing them, understanding them, valuing them, and giving them the one thing they rarely receive: true listening. Chapter 5: The influence of your words and how to use them wisely. Words are powerful. They can build people up, or they can break people down. They can open doors, or they can close them. They can inspire someone to act, or they can make someone doubt themselves. The way you use your words determines how people feel around you and how much influence you have over their decisions, emotions, and trust. Words are not just sounds. They are emotions shaped into language. They carry intention. They carry energy. People don't only listen to what you say. They feel how you say it. That's why two people can say the same sentence but create two completely different reactions. Influence comes not from the words themselves, but from the feelings behind them. The first thing to understand is that people remember how your words made them feel. They may forget the exact sentence you used, but they never forget the emotional impact. When your words make someone feel respected, safe, or valued, your influence grows. When your words make someone feel small, ignored, or attacked, your influence becomes weaker. The tone you use, the pace you speak with, and the intention behind your words matter more than the words alone. The most influential people choose their words carefully. They don't speak just to fill silence. They don't rush to answer before thinking. They don't throw words carelessly. They understand that words, once spoken, cannot be taken back. They move slowly with their speech, giving their thoughts time to form and their message time breathe. When you speak with clarity, people trust you. When you speak with honesty, people respect you. When you speak with kindness, people want to listen to you. When you speak with intention, people take your words seriously. Words shape your influence more than you realize. But influence through words is not about sounding smart. It's not about big vocabulary or complicated language. Influence comes from simplicity. The simpler your words, the easier they are to understand. People don't follow confusing messages. They follow clear, grounded ones. Simple words reach the heart faster than fancy ones. Influential words also require calmness. If your voice rises in anger or rushes with anxiety, your influence drops. People can sense your emotional state through your tone. A calm tone shows control. It shows confidence. It shows emotional strength. When you speak calmly, even in difficult situations, people trust you more because your voice becomes a signal of stability. Another part of using your words wisely is learning when not to speak. Silence is often more influential than speech. Silence shows patience. It shows discipline. It shows confidence. People who feel pressured by words push back, but people who feel space lean in. Sometimes the most influential thing you can do is pause, breathe, and wait. Silence gives weight to your next words. Influence through words also depends on timing. Saying the right thing at the wrong time loses power. Saying the right thing at the right moment changes everything. Timing creates impact. When someone is emotional, overwhelmed, or distracted, they may not hear you clearly. But when you choose a moment when their mind is open, your words land deeper. Influential people study the moment before they choose the message. To influence others, you must also understand the difference between reacting and responding. Reacting is quick, emotional, and often careless. Responding is thoughtful, calm, and deliberate. Reacting comes from impulse. Responding comes from awareness. People trust those who respond, not those who react. When you control your words during stressful moments, your influence becomes stronger. Your words are also more influential when they feel genuine. People can sense when someone is pretending or exaggerating. They can sense when praise is fake or when compliments come with hidden motives. Genuine words, even if simple, carry more weight than dramatic sentences. When your words match your true intentions, people trust them. Another important part of influence is learning to speak in a way that connects to someone's emotions. Logic makes people think, but emotion makes people act. If you want to influence someone, you must speak to their feelings. You must make them feel understood and inspired. You must show them that you understand their fear, their hope, their doubt, or their dream. When you speak to someone's heart, not just their mind, your influence deepens. Influential people also avoid unnecessary criticism. Criticism can shut people down. It can make them defensive. It can make them disconnect from you. But when you speak with empathy and respect, even when giving feedback, people listen. They hear your intention, not just your words. Gentle words can deliver strong messages without hurting anyone. The tone you use when correcting someone matters just as much as the correction itself. When your tone feels attacking, they resist. When your tone feels calm, they reflect. When your tone feels caring, they trust you enough to change. Influence grows when your words come from a place of growth, not control. Influence also grows when you speak with gratitude. Gratitude softens hearts. It relaxes the mind. It builds connection. When you thank people sincerely, they feel valued, they feel seen. And people who feel appreciated naturally want to support you. A simple thank you spoken with warmth carries more influence than long speeches. Speaking wisely also means avoiding unnecessary conflict. Many people waste their influence by arguing about small things. They speak to win rather than understand. They talk to prove instead of connect. But influence is not about winning arguments. Influence is about guiding people without forcing them. When you avoid pointless conflict, your influence stays strong and your relationships stay healthy. Your influence also increases when you use your words to uplift rather than shame. One encouraging sentence can change someone's entire day. One gentle reassurance can calm someone's anxiety. One thoughtful message can give someone hope. When your words uplift, people see you as someone who brings light instead of judgment, and people follow the ones who make them feel stronger. Sometimes the most influential words are the ones that say less, but mean more. Phrases like "I understand," "I'm here for you," "You can do this," or "I believe in you," have incredible impact because they touch the heart. These simple sentences create trust, comfort, and emotional closeness. Influential speech is also emotionally steady. If you speak with too much excitement or too much fear, your message loses balance. But when your tone stays steady, your words feel safe. And safe words influence. Another key to using your words wisely is clarity. People trust those who speak clearly. When your message is simple and your tone is calm, people understand you easily. When they understand you, they listen. When they listen, they follow. People rarely follow those who confuse them. Confusion creates distance. Clarity creates closeness. The more clear your words, the more people will stay connected to you. Influence through words requires patience. You cannot force someone to understand something immediately. You cannot rush their emotions. Sometimes people need time to absorb your message. You must allow that time. Influence flows slowly, not quickly. Your patience becomes part of your power. Your words shape how people see you. If you are someone who uses your words to insult, people see you as small. If you are someone who uses your words to lie, people see you as unreliable. If you are someone who uses your words to brag, people see you as insecure. But when you use your words to encourage, to understand, to guide, and to uplift, people see you as strong. The words you choose also shape how you see yourself. When you speak with negativity, it affects your own confidence. When you speak with kindness, it strengthens your identity. When you speak with confidence, it improves your self-image. Your words influence you first. Influence grows when you speak less, but with more meaning. When your sentences are simple, honest, and warm, people listen. When your tone is steady, people relax. When your intention is clear, people trust you. And when your words touch someone emotionally, they follow you willingly. One thing you must remember is that every conversation is an opportunity to influence. Every interaction shapes how people feel about you. The words you choose today might determine whether someone trusts you tomorrow. The tone you use today might determine how someone sees you next time. Every moment counts. When you learn to use your words wisely, you gain influence without trying. People feel drawn to you. They feel safe with you. They respect your voice. They value your thoughts. Your words become something they look forward to hearing. Influence through words is not loud. It's calm, it's steady, it's thoughtful, it's intentional, and when your voice carries that intention, your influence becomes powerful and lasting. Chapter 6: Emotional Intelligence and the Influence It Gives You. Every person carries emotions inside them. Some show them openly, some hide them, and some don't even understand what they feel. But emotions guide almost everything people do. They shape decisions, reactions, communication, and relationships. If you learn to understand emotions, your own and others, you gain a level of influence that most people never reach. Emotional intelligence means understanding feelings, even when those feelings are not spoken. It means recognizing what someone is experiencing, even when they try to hide it. It means being aware of how your own emotions affect your words and actions. And it means knowing how to respond in a way that brings calm, comfort, clarity, or confidence. Influence grows in emotional spaces, not logical ones. People follow those who understand their emotions, not those who only offer facts. When someone feels understood, they trust you. They relax around you, they open their heart. And once the heart opens, influence flows naturally. Emotional intelligence begins with self-awareness. You must know your own feelings before you can understand others. If you get angry easily, it shows in your voice. If you feel insecure, it shows in your posture. If you carry stress, it shows in your tone. People read your emotions even when you don't say anything. Influence becomes difficult when your emotions control you instead of you controlling them. Self-awareness means being honest with yourself. It means asking, what am I feeling right now? And why am I feeling this way? Most people run away from their emotions. They distract themselves with noise, entertainment, or anger. But to be influential, you must face your emotions with calmness. You must learn to observe your feelings without letting them explode. When you understand your own emotions, you stay stable even when life gets difficult. That stability makes people trust you. People follow those who remain calm during chaos. When you can stay steady while others panic, your influence becomes stronger than words. Emotional intelligence also means self-control. Anyone can react in anger. Anyone can speak harshly when upset. Anyone can lose patience. But emotionally intelligent people choose their reactions. They breathe before they respond. They think before they speak. They hold their emotions gently instead of throwing them at others. This control shows maturity. Maturity attracts trust. And trust creates influence. When you learn to control your emotions, you don't become cold. You become aware. You learn to use your feelings in a way that helps the situation instead of hurting it. You learn how to guide conversations instead of losing control of them. You learn how to comfort others without losing your own balance. The next part of emotional intelligence is awareness of others. This means noticing the tiny emotional signals people give, the tremble in a voice, the slight pause before answering, the way someone avoids eye contact, the forced smile that hides stress, the quietness that signals fear. These small things tell you what someone is truly feeling, even when they don't say it. When you notice these things, you respond more wisely. You choose words that match their emotional state. If someone is scared, you speak gently. If someone is angry, you stay calm. If someone is sad, you slow down. If someone is confused, you bring clarity. When you adjust your behavior to meet their emotional needs, they feel cared for, and caring creates influence. Influence is not about control. It's about connection. People don't follow those who dominate them. They follow those who understand them. Emotional intelligence is the bridge that makes this possible. Another part of emotional intelligence is empathy. Empathy means feeling with someone instead of judging them. You don't have to agree with their feelings. You don't have to fix their problems. You just have to understand why they feel the way they do. Empathy makes people feel less alone. And when people feel less alone, they open up to you. Empathy is one of the strongest forms of influence because it touches the heart. People will remember the way you made them feel, understood long after they forget your advice. People follow those who make them feel safe emotionally. They trust those who hold their feelings gently. Emotionally intelligent people don't rush to correct others. They don't make someone feel wrong for expressing fear or sadness. They give space. They give attention. They give kindness. When someone shows you their emotions, they're showing you a vulnerable part of themselves. If you respond with care, your influence grows deeper. To influence people, you must also learn how to calm emotions. Every conversation has emotions behind it. Some are strong, some are quiet. When emotions rise too high, influence drops. People stop listening when fear or anger takes over. They stop thinking clearly, they become defensive. But if you stay calm, your calmness becomes contagious. Your tone can calm someone. Your silence can calm someone. Your soft gaze can calm someone. Your slow pace can calm someone. When you help someone steady their emotions, they trust you even more. Emotionally intelligent people never embarrass others. They never use anger to win. They never make someone feel small. Instead, they guide conversations gently. They bring tension down instead of pushing it up. They understand that influence is not about being right. It's about keeping connection strong. Being emotionally intelligent also means knowing when someone needs encouragement. Encouragement is one of the simplest ways to influence someone in a positive direction. Sometimes people doubt themselves. Sometimes they feel lost. Sometimes they feel tired. When you say, "You can do this," or "I believe in you," those words lift them. Encouragement is influence through hope. Hope is one of the strongest emotions anyone can give or receive. Another important part of emotional intelligence is managing conflict. Conflict is emotional. When emotions rise, logic disappears. The person who controls their emotions during conflict controls the direction of the conflict. They guide conversations away from anger and toward understanding. This ability makes someone a natural leader. Emotionally intelligent people don't yell. They don't insult. They don't react quickly. They listen. They breathe. They choose words that bring clarity instead of confusion. Their calmness becomes the anchor that keeps everyone grounded. Influence grows in moments where most people lose control. The person who stays calm becomes the person everyone turns to. Emotional intelligence also helps you avoid unnecessary battles. Some situations don't need a response. Some comments don't need a reaction. Some arguments don't need your energy. Emotionally intelligent people choose their battles wisely. They understand that protecting peace is more important than winning every disagreement. This creates influence because people see you as someone who values stability and respect. Someone who doesn't make situations worse. Someone who chooses harmony over ego. When people feel like you are emotionally safe to talk to, they trust you with important parts of their lives. They share more. They ask for your thoughts. They let you guide them. They see you as someone who understands not just their words, but their heart. People don't follow perfection. They follow emotional safety. Your influence becomes powerful when people feel emotionally comfortable with you. Emotional intelligence also helps you understand what someone needs, not what they say. Sometimes someone says they're fine, but their tone tells you they're not. Sometimes someone acts angry, but behind the anger is fear. Sometimes someone becomes quiet, not because they don't care, but because they are overwhelmed. When you see beyond the surface, your responses become more meaningful. Someone who can read emotions quietly influences others deeply. Emotionally intelligent people also know how to take responsibility for their own emotions. They don't blame others for their anger. They don't accuse others for their sadness. They understand their feelings without throwing them on people around them. This emotional maturity makes them trustworthy. People avoid those who cannot control their emotions, but they move closer to those who understand their own emotional world. When your emotions are balanced, your influence becomes steady. When your emotions are controlled, your presence becomes strong. When your emotions are understood, your relationships become deeper. Emotional intelligence shapes how people feel in your presence, and how people feel in your presence shapes your influence. When someone feels heard, they feel connected. When someone feels understood, they feel safe. When someone feels safe, they trust you. And when they trust you, they follow you. Influence is emotional before it is logical. If you master emotional intelligence, you master one of the strongest forms of influence. Chapter 7. How confidence shapes your influence without saying a word. Confidence is one of the strongest forms of influence, yet it requires no effort to show off. Real confidence is quiet, calm, and steady. It doesn't shout. It doesn't rush. It doesn't try to prove anything. It simply exists in the way you speak, move, and think. People can sense confidence the same way they sense warmth from sunlight. They don't need you to explain it. They feel it the moment you enter a room. Confidence doesn't mean being loud. Loudness is often a sign of insecurity, not strength. Real confidence is gentle. It's the kind of presence that makes people feel safe. It's the kind of energy that makes people trust you without you having to say a single impressive word. When your confidence is real, people follow you more willingly because they can feel that you believe in yourself, and people naturally want to follow someone who believes in themselves. Confidence starts with how you see yourself. If you see yourself as weak, others sense it. If you see yourself as unsure, others see it in your body language. But when you truly believe that you belong, that you are capable, that you are enough, everything about your presence changes. Your voice settles, your posture rises, your movements slow down, your eyes become more steady. These subtle changes change how people feel around you. Most people misunderstand confidence. They think it's something you are born with, like a personality trait that some have and some don't. But confidence is something you build from experiences, from small victories, from overcoming challenges, from failing and rising again. Every time you face something hard and get through it, your confidence grows. Every time you do something that scares you, your confidence becomes stronger. Confidence is built, not gifted. Confidence is also trusting your own judgment. Many people rely too much on other people's opinions. They wait for approval before making decisions. They worry about what people will think. But influential people don't get lost in those thoughts. They understand that confidence doesn't come from being right all the time. It comes from trusting your ability to learn, adapt, and grow. When you trust yourself, people trust you too. Confidence grows from preparation. When you prepare, you feel ready. When you feel ready, your voice becomes clearer. Your posture becomes stronger. Your mind becomes calmer. Preparation gives you the quiet assurance that you can handle whatever comes. Even if something unexpected happens, your foundation stays steady because you've done the work. People sense that steadiness, and they follow it. Another part of confidence is accepting mistakes. People who pretend they never make mistakes are not confident. They're afraid of weakness. But truly confident people admit when they're wrong. They apologize when necessary. They learn openly. They never hide behind excuses. This honesty makes them more influential because people trust those who are real, not those who pretend to be perfect. Confidence also means not taking things personally. When someone criticizes you or does not agree with you, confidence keeps you grounded. You don't fall apart. You don't get angry. You don't lose your calm. You understand that other people's opinions do not control your worth. This emotional strength increases your influence because people see that you are stable even when faced with negativity. Confidence also appears in the way you carry yourself physically. When your shoulders are relaxed, your movements smooth, and your expression calm, people read your body language as secure. You don't have to announce confidence. Your body shows it. You don't even have to say much. Your presence becomes enough. People sense your ease, and they respond with respect. Your voice is another part of confidence. Confident voices are not loud. They are steady. They do not tremble. They do not rush. They come from a place of calm self-assurance. When you speak slowly, your words feel more thoughtful. When you pause, people feel your command of the conversation. When your tone stays warm and controlled, people listen with more attention. Your voice becomes more influential simply because you speak with confidence, not fear. Confidence is also reflected in your choices. When you choose your actions based on what matters to you, instead of what will impress others, your influence grows. People admire those who follow their own path instead of chasing approval. When someone lives with authenticity, it inspires others to do the same. And inspiration. Another piece of confidence is knowing your strengths and owning them without bragging. Bragging is insecurity trying to look strong. True strength doesn't need to be shown off. When you know what you're good at and use your abilities with humility, people trust you more. They see your quiet confidence and feel drawn to it. They feel safe around someone who doesn't need to prove their worth constantly. Confidence also means being comfortable with silence. Many people fill silence with nervous talking. They think silence means weakness, but confident people treat silence as their ally. They allow moments to breathe. They think before speaking. They stay calm when others rush, and because of this, their presence feels stronger. Silence becomes one of their most powerful tools of influence. The reason silence is powerful is because it communicates patience, it communicates control, it communicates emotional maturity. When someone stays silent and steady, people feel that they are dealing with someone who is deeply rooted in themselves, someone who doesn't fall easily, someone who carries inner stability. Confidence shapes influence because people follow strength, not physical strength, but emotional strength. They follow those who remain calm when things go wrong. Those who stay hopeful when others lose faith. Those who stay kind when things get stressful. People follow those who show strength through gentleness. Confidence is also shown in the way you make decisions. Confident people don't drag decisions endlessly. They gather information, think carefully, and then choose. Even if the decision is difficult, they make it with clarity. People respect decision makers. They trust leaders who do not freeze in uncertainty. This ability to choose with confidence increases your influence because people feel secure around someone who moves with purpose. There's another side to confidence: boundaries. Confident people set boundaries with kindness. They say no when they need to. They protect their energy. They don't allow others to walk over them. They don't say yes just to avoid conflict. They understand their worth, and they treat their time and energy with respect. People follow those who respect themselves. Confidence also means you are not threatened by the success of others. You don't feel jealous. You don't compare yourself constantly. You don't feel small when others shine. Instead, you celebrate them. You learn from them. You grow with them. This emotional security makes others feel safe sharing success with you, and people trust those who can cheer for them without insecurity. Confidence influences people because it brings comfort. When you are confident, others feel less anxious. They feel more stable. They feel like they are around someone who can handle life. Influence comes naturally when people feel better simply by being in your presence. Confidence also shapes the way you face challenges. When something difficult happens, confident people don't blame others. They don't run away. They don't collapse. They step forward. They look for solutions. They take responsibility. People follow this behavior because it shows reliability. When you handle problems well, your influence grows. Confidence doesn't mean you always feel brave. It means you keep going even when you're scared. It means you trust yourself even when things are uncertain. It means you take action even when you doubt your abilities. People respect those who move forward despite fear. They see courage, and courage builds influence. Another strong part of confidence is being consistent. When your behavior stays steady, people know what to expect from you. Consistency is comforting. People trust those who do not change their personality based on the situation. They follow those who stay true to themselves. Confidence brings consistency, and consistency builds long-term influence. Confidence also comes from knowing that you don't have to be perfect to be valuable. You don't have to know everything to be respected. You don't have to succeed in every attempt to be influential. You grow through mistakes, learning, and trying again. When you allow yourself to be human, people find you more relatable, and relatability increases influence. The more confident you become, the more natural your influence becomes. You won't have to push people. You won't have to convince them aggressively. They will feel your presence, your certainty, your calmness, and they will follow willingly. Your influence will be quiet but strong, soft but powerful. Confidence turns your presence into a message. You don't need loudness. You don't need showiness. You don't need approval. You just need to be grounded in who you are. That grounded presence becomes influence that speaks louder than any words ever could. Chapter 8. Why being calm makes you more influential than being loud. People often think influence comes from intensity, from raising your voice, from strong reactions, or from dominating conversations. But real influence usually comes from the opposite. The calm person in the room often holds more power than the loudest voice. Calmness is a quiet strength. It is a type of presence that makes others slow down, breathe easier, and listen more carefully. When you are calm, people feel safer around you, and safety creates influence. Calmness isn't the absence of emotion. Calmness is emotional control. It means you feel everything that's happening, but you respond with clarity instead of chaos. It means you understand the situation, but don't let it shake you. When you stay calm in moments where most people panic, your influence rises automatically. People sense that you can handle pressure, and that makes them trust you more. Calm people don't rush. They don't crumble under stress. They don't attack others when angry. They choose their reactions. That choice is what makes them powerful. Emotional control is one of the strongest signs of maturity, and maturity attracts trust. When people trust you, they listen to you, and when they listen, you influence them. Calmness is not something you pretend to have. You cannot fake it for long. Real calmness is built slowly. It comes from understanding your emotions instead of running from them. It comes from breathing through difficult moments instead of reacting too fast. It comes from practicing patience when you want to explode. When you choose calmness over reaction enough times, your influence grows quietly and steadily. When someone raises their voice, the calm person becomes the anchor in the room. People instinctively turn toward calmness. Loud energy feels overwhelming. Calm energy feels grounding. Even in arguments, the calm person often wins without trying, because the loud person loses control while the calm person maintains presence. Influence belongs to the one who holds control, not to the one who loses it. Calmness also affects how people see you during conflict. When others argue emotionally and you respond with a steady tone, you look stronger. People trust those who don't get carried away by anger. They trust those who don't get distracted by loudness. They trust those who stay centered, no matter what happens. Calmness also protects your message. When your voice is calm, people hear your words instead of your emotion. Calmness influences others because it reduces fear. Many people react from fear. Fear of being misunderstood, fear of being wrong, fear of being controlled, fear of losing respect. But when you remain calm, you send a signal that everything will be okay. You become the emotional leader in the situation. People naturally follow the emotional leader, not the loudest talker. Calmness is especially powerful because it spreads. If one person in a room is calm, others begin to calm down too. If you speak slowly, others slow down. If you breathe deeply, others breathe deeper. If you stay steady, others feel steadier. The calm person sets the emotional tone of the room without even trying. That is influence. Calmness also helps you think more clearly. When your mind is calm, your decisions are smarter. You see the situation more clearly. You hear people more carefully. You understand details others miss. When your mind is calm, your brain works better. Good decisions increase respect. Respect increases influence. People often lose influence because they react too quickly. They let their emotions speak instead of their mind. They say things they regret. They act from impulse instead of intention. But calm people pause before reacting. They choose their words. They choose their tone. And because of this, people feel their wisdom. Even children respond more to calmness than loudness. A calm parent influences a child far more effectively than one who shouts. The same applies in friendships, relationships, workplaces, and leadership. People trust calm energy because calm energy feels safe, and humans follow safety. Calmness also makes your presence stronger. When you walk into a room with calm energy, people feel it. They don't see rush or fear in your movements. They don't sense anxiety in your gestures. They feel a peaceful presence, and they instinctively respect it. Presence is influence. A calm presence is one of the strongest types of presence you can have. Calm people also listen better. They don't interrupt out of frustration. They don't jump to conclusions. They don't get lost in their own emotions. They give space. They pay attention. They absorb information. They make others feel understood. Listening itself is influence, and calmness makes good listening possible. Calmness also protects your relationships. When you argue without calmness, you hurt people with your words. You say things you don't mean. You push people away. But when you argue calmly, you keep respect alive. You protect the connection. People trust you more, even during conflict, because they know you won't attack them emotionally. Many leaders fail because they cannot stay calm. They panic under pressure. They blame others. They lose their temper. This destroys trust, and without trust there is no influence. But leaders who stay calm during storms gain followers naturally. People want to follow someone who doesn't fall apart. They want stability. Calmness is not weakness. Weakness is losing control. Weakness is letting anger take over. Weakness is letting fear guide decisions. Calmness is the opposite. Calmness is strength under pressure. Calmness is holding yourself steady even when everything around you shakes. Calmness is choosing clarity over chaos. Calmness is also connected to deeper self-respect. When you respect yourself, you don't let situations force you into cater reactions. You don't let anger pull you out of your character. You don't let someone else's behavior control your mood. Your calmness shows that you are in charge of yourself, not anyone else. Influence grows from self-respect. When you respect yourself enough to stay calm, others respect you too. They see that you don't break easily. They see that you control yourself. They see that your emotions don't dominate your judgment. This makes you dependable, and dependability attracts trust. Calmness also helps you deal with difficult people. There will always be people who try to provoke you, insult you, or test your patience. If you react emotionally, they feel they've won. But if you stay calm, they lose their power over you. Calmness takes control back into your hands. The moment they cannot control your reaction, you become stronger than them. That strength builds influence even in difficult situations. People admire those who can stay calm while still standing firm. Calmness doesn't mean you avoid difficult conversations. It means you handle them without losing your balance. Calm strength is more impressive than loud anger. Calmness also helps you communicate better. When you speak calmly, people feel your intention. They trust your tone. They feel your steadiness. Calm words carry more weight because they come from a stable mind. When you speak calmly, even hard truths are easier for others to accept. Calmness is also deeply connected to patience. Patience doesn't mean waiting forever. It means waiting with clarity instead of frustration. Impatient people lose influence because they rush others. But patient people give others the space they need. They don't pressure. They guide gently. People listen more willingly when they don't feel pushed. You don't have to yell to be heard. You just have to speak from a calm, grounded place. The more calm you are, the more influence you gain. Calmness also helps you notice things others miss. You see emotions in people's faces. You hear the feelings behind their words. You understand the silent messages in conversations. This understanding makes your influence deeper because you connect with people at a level they don't share with everyone. Influence is not loud. It's not aggressive. It's not dramatic. Influence is calm, steady, and emotionally controlled. When you master calmness, you master influence. Calmness is a gift you give to yourself first. Then it becomes a gift to others. And eventually it becomes the reason people trust you, follow you, and speak about you with respect. This is the quiet power that builds influence without force. Calmness is your invisible strength. And once you learn to use it, people will feel it every time you enter a room. Chapter 9. How people feel your energy before they hear your words. People often believe influence starts when you speak. They think their words carry the most power. But the truth is, people feel your energy long before they hear your voice. You influence others the moment you enter a room, even before you say anything. Your energy tells people whether you are confident or insecure, calm or anxious, open or closed. Humans are naturally sensitive to energy. We feel it without trying. We react to it without thinking. Think about the moments when someone walked into a room and the atmosphere changed instantly. No one said anything, yet you felt a shift. Sometimes you feel relaxed around a person even before they speak. Other times you feel tense without understanding why. This is because energy communicates silently and quickly. It reaches people faster than words ever can. And those who learn to manage their energy gain influence before the conversation even begins. Your energy is not magic. It comes from your thoughts, your emotions, your posture, your breath, and your internal state. If your mind is calm, your energy feels calm. If your mind is stressed, your energy feels tense. People sense this. They may not know the reason, but they feel it. This is why emotional control matters so much. Your inner world affects your outer presence. When your energy is steady, people feel grounded around you. When your energy is scattered, people feel unsettled near you. When your energy is warm, people feel welcomed. When your energy is cold, people feel distant. Influence grows from the energy you carry with you. You cannot fake it for long. The energy you give others is the energy you build inside yourself. Energy is felt through posture. If you sit or stand with confidence, relaxed shoulders, straight back, open body, people feel you as someone who is secure. They sense you as someone who is comfortable in their own skin. But if your posture is tight, if your shoulders curve inward, if you look small, people feel your insecurity. Before they hear your words, they already decide how to respond to you. Energy is felt through eye contact. Steady, soft eye contact makes people feel safe. It shows presence, it shows interest, it shows strength, but avoiding eye contact sends the message that you are nervous or closed. Staring too intensely makes people uncomfortable. The balance in your gaze affects how people feel about you instantly. Energy is felt through your walk. When you walk slowly with purpose, people sense confidence. When you rush, stumble, or move with tension, people feel your inner stress. A calm walk communicates silent strength. It influences others without you trying. Energy is felt through your tone of voice. The same words said with a calm tone feel comforting. The same words said with a rushed tone feel stressful. People pay more attention to your tone than your meaning. If your tone is steady and warm, people trust you. If your tone is shaky or sharp, people pull back. Influence grows when your tone makes people feel relaxed. Energy is also felt in your breathing. When you breathe slowly, your presence feels calmer. When you breathe quickly or irregularly, others sense nervousness. Humans often mirror each other unconsciously. If your breathing is calm, people around you begin to calm down too. If your breathing is tense, the room begins to feel tense. Calm breathing is a quiet influence tool most people never realize they have. Your energy affects conversations long before you speak. If you approach someone with anxiety, they feel the tension. If you approach someone with openness, they feel the warmth. People respond to the feeling you create in the space between you and them. Influence is born in that space. Sometimes someone's energy makes you feel like you can trust them instantly. Other times someone's energy makes you want to avoid them. This isn't logic. It's instinct. The human brain has evolved to read energy for survival. Even when we don't know the person, we react to their energy first. That reaction shapes everything that happens next. If you want to influence people, you must learn to manage your energy. And the first step is awareness. You must know what energy you're giving off. Are you calm or anxious? Are you confident or doubtful? Are you open or guarded? You cannot change what you do not recognize. Your energy becomes stable when you stop rushing. Rushing creates tension. Walking, talking, or thinking too fast sends stress into the space around you. When you slow down, everything feels more peaceful. Your energy becomes more controlled. People feel better around you. Your energy becomes warmer when you focus on the person in front of you instead of worrying about yourself. When someone feels your attention, your presence feels safe. Human beings want attention, not in a selfish way, but in a human way. We want to be seen. When your energy says, "I'm here for you," people open up. They trust you, and influence grows naturally. Your energy becomes more confident when you accept yourself. Insecurity leaks into your energy. It makes you shrink internally. But self-acceptance expands your presence. When you stop trying to impress people, your energy becomes stronger. People feel more comfortable around someone who is comfortable with themselves. Your energy becomes lighter when you let go of unnecessary stress. When you carry frustration, resentment, or fear, your energy feels heavy. People sense it even if they can't explain it. But when you release your stress through reflection, breathing, or patience, your energy becomes easier to be around. People move closer to those with light energy. Your energy becomes more influential when you stop reacting emotionally to every situation. Emotional reactions make your energy unstable, but controlled responses make your energy steady. People trust steady energy. They trust those who can stay centered no matter what happens. This trust gives you influence in difficult moments where others lose control. Energy is also shaped by your intentions. If your intention is to help someone, your energy feels kind. If your intention is to impress someone, your energy feels needy. If your intention is to judge someone, your energy feels cold. People respond to intention more than words. Influence requires clean intention, not manipulation, not ego, but genuine connection. Energy influences relationships more than logic does. People fall in love because of energy. People trust because of energy. People open up because of energy. People avoid others because of energy. This is why influence is emotional, not intellectual. When your energy feels safe, warm, steady, and confident, people allow you to shape their thoughts and decisions. Energy also affects leadership. The most influential leaders are not always the loudest or the most charismatic. They are the ones whose energy feels steady in chaos. They stay level-headed when everyone else panics. They stay hopeful when others lose faith. They stay patient when others rush. Their presence itself becomes a source of guidance. If you want to influence people at a deep level, you must take care of your energy first. Your energy is the signal that tells people how to feel around you. If your energy is tense, people mirror that tension. If your energy is calm, they mirror calmness. If your energy is confident, they feel stronger in your presence. Influence begins in the silent moments. It begins in the way you breathe, in the way you stand, in the way you look at someone, in the way you listen, in the way you move. These silent actions speak louder than speech. Words come later. Energy comes first. The more you control your energy, the more you control your influence. You won't have to push people. You won't have to convince them. You won't have to force your voice. Your energy will guide them before your words do. When people feel your strength, they trust you. When people feel your calmness, they relax around you. When people feel your confidence, they respect you. When people feel your warmth, they open up to you. When people feel your presence, they follow you. This is the invisible influence you carry with you everywhere. And once you master your energy, your influence begins long before you speak. Chapter 10. How patience makes your influence stronger and longer lasting. Influence is not built in a moment. It grows slowly, quietly, and steadily, just like trust. And one of the strongest ingredients that makes influence last is patience. People often think influence is about speed, about convincing someone quickly, about getting results right away. But deep influence does not rush. It does not force. It does not demand instant agreement. Real influence is patient. It understands human emotions, human fears, and human timing. Patience shows a level of inner strength that people can feel. When you are patient, You make others feel safe. You remove pressure from conversations. You give people time to think, time to adjust, and time to understand. And when people feel they have time, they lower their defenses. They stop resisting. They begin to open up. Influence flows in these open spaces, not in moments of pressure. Patience is not the same as waiting quietly. Patience is control. It is the ability to remain calm when you want results. It is the ability to remain steady when things move slowly. It is the ability to hold emotional balance even when someone disagrees with you. This emotional balance makes your influence stable and trustworthy. People follow those who do not panic, and panic usually comes from impatience. When you rush others, they feel overwhelmed. When you force your ideas, they feel attacked. When you push too hard, they push back, but patience removes the feeling of threat. People begin to trust someone who waits for them to understand, instead of demanding that they understand immediately. Patience also helps you speak more clearly. When you are patient, your words come from a calm place. You don't interrupt. You don't argue emotionally. You don't lose control. You give yourself time to think, and because of that, your message becomes stronger. Calm words spoken with patience often influence more than loud words spoken too fast. People respond well to someone who does not rush them. When you give someone time to explain themselves, they feel valued. When you give them time to correct their mistakes, they feel respected. When you give them time to grow, they feel supported. This emotional comfort creates loyalty, and loyalty is one of the deepest forms of influence. Patience also keeps you from reacting emotionally. When someone says something rude or disagrees with you strongly, impatience makes you react instantly. You might snap back. You might raise your voice. You might say something you'll regret later. But if you are patient, you create space between their action and your response. And in that space, you think. You choose your reaction. You respond with intention instead of emotion. This ability makes you influential because people trust those who stay calm when others lose control. Patience is the foundation of self-control, and self-control is one of the strongest signals of leadership. People follow a calm leader more than a loud one. They trust a steady person more than a reactive one. They feel safer around someone who does not get carried away by emotions. This quiet power comes from patience. Patience also gives you emotional awareness. When you are patient, you notice things others miss. You notice small changes in someone's tone, their facial expressions, their hesitation, their discomfort. You see what is happening beneath the surface. This deeper understanding helps you choose your words more wisely, and wise words create long-lasting influence. Patience also helps you read situations better. When you pause before acting, you give yourself time to understand the bigger picture. You don't jump to conclusions. You don't misunderstand people. You don't make quick judgments. You see things more clearly, and clear vision makes your influence solid. People respect those who do not get frustrated easily. Frustration creates distance, but patience brings people closer. When others see that you stay calm, even when things are slow or difficult, they admire your emotional strength. They trust your steady presence. Influence also grows when you allow people to take their own time. Everyone grows at a different pace. Everyone learns at a different speed. Everyone reaches understanding in their own way. When you respect this difference, people feel supported instead of judged. They become more open to your guidance. They follow you because you give them space instead of pressure. Patience is one of the most attractive qualities a person can have. It shows that you are not controlled by fear or insecurity. It shows that you trust yourself enough to wait. It shows that you believe things will unfold when the time is right. People feel this confidence. Even if you never say a word, patience also protects relationships. When you are patient, you avoid unnecessary fights. You avoid hurting others with impulsive words. You avoid damaging trust. Instead, you create an environment where people feel safe, expressing themselves. Safe environments build strong connections, and strong connections lead to influence that lasts for years. There will be moments when someone tests your patience. They may argue without reason, they may complain, they may misunderstand you, they may delay something important. During these moments, patience becomes your strongest influence tool. If you get angry or forceful, the situation worsens. But if you stay patient, you guide the situation back to calmness. People follow those who restore calm, not those who create chaos. Patience also helps you stay focused on long-term influence instead of short-term victories. Sometimes you might feel tempted to win a small argument, to prove a point, to correct someone immediately. But short-term victories can weaken long-term influence. When you choose patience, you choose connection over ego. And connection creates deeper influence than winning any argument ever will. Patience also shapes your body language. Impatience shows in restless movements, tapping fingers, shifting eyes, tight breathing, or sudden reactions. People sense this and feel stressed around you. But when you are patient, your body stays relaxed. Your movements stay smooth, your breathing stays slow. This calm presence influences others to relax and listen. Your patience also shows in your tone. A patient tone is warm, steady, and respectful. It makes people feel safe. It makes them want to communicate more. But an impatient tone, even with gentle words, can sound sharp or cold. Tone shapes trust, and trust shapes influence. Patience also teaches you the power of silence. Sometimes the best response is no response. Sometimes silence gives the other person space to think, to calm down, or to find their own answer. Silence can guide a conversation more effectively than words. When you use silence wisely, your influence becomes more subtle but stronger. Patience helps you handle disappointment. Influence is not about having everything go your way. It's about adjusting calmly when things don't. People watch how you respond to setbacks. If you stay patient and steady, they trust your emotional strength. They see you as someone who can handle challenges without breaking. This respect increases your influence even more. Patience also reminds you that influence cannot be rushed. You cannot force someone to trust you. You cannot rush someone into understanding you. You cannot hurry someone into changing. Influence takes time. It grows in small moments. It deepens through consistency. It becomes strong through patience. Most people rush life. They rush conversations. They rush decisions. They rush relationships. But rushing destroys influence because rushing creates pressure. Pressure creates resistance. Patience removes that resistance. Patience opens doors that rushing keeps closed. When you are patient, others feel they can be themselves around you. They do not fear judgment. They do not fear mistakes. They do not fear disappointing you. They feel accepted. And acceptance builds influence at the deepest level. Patience makes you influential because it shows emotional discipline. It shows strength without aggression. It shows wisdom without arrogance. It shows leadership without force. People naturally follow someone who gives them space, dignity, and time. A patient presence is a powerful presence. It stays calm when others get loud. It stays steady when others get shaky. It stays kind when others get irritated. This contrast makes your influence shine even brighter. When you master patience, you master one of the most powerful forms of influence, not the kind that forces people, but the kind that inspires them. Not the kind that pressures people, but the kind that attracts them. Not the kind that shouts, but the kind that whispers strengths. Patience allows your influence to grow deeper, stronger, and more lasting than anything loud or urgent ever could. Chapter 11. Why being reliable makes people trust you and follow you. Influence is built on many things, but one of the strongest foundations is reliability. When people know they can count on you, their trust in you grows quietly and deeply. Reliability means you do what you say you will do. It means your actions match your words. It means you show up when people expect you to show up. And it means you follow through even when things get difficult. People watch reliability more closely than they watch almost anything else. They listen to your promises, and then they wait to see if your behavior matches them. Most people talk more than they act. They promise more than they deliver. They start strong and finish weak. So when someone actually follows through, it stands out. It makes people pay attention. Reliability does not require a perfect personality. It does not require being the smartest person in the room. It does not require big speeches or loud confidence. It requires something much simpler: consistency. Reliability is the habit of showing up again and again, even in small things, and those small things become proof of your character. Think about the people you trust most in your life. They are not perfect. They may not be the funniest or the most talented, but they are steady. When they say they will do something, they do it. When they say they will call, they call. When they say they will help, they help. Reliability creates a sense of safety, and safety creates trust. Trust creates influence. People follow those who make them feel secure. When someone is unreliable, their influence becomes weak because people never know when they will fail. But when someone is reliable, their influence grows naturally because people can relax around them. They don't have to worry, they don't have to double check, they don't have to doubt. That comfort makes your presence stronger. Reliability starts with small commitments. When you say, "I'll be there at 3, and you arrive at 3, you build reliability. When you say, "I'll finish this tomorrow," and you actually finish it, you build reliability. When you say, "I'll listen," and you do, you build reliability. These small actions shape how people feel about you. Most people don't understand how much these tiny moments matter. They think influence comes from big displays of skill or big dramatic moments, but real influence lives in the quiet patterns of your everyday behavior. When you keep your word over and over, people begin to feel that you are someone they can depend on without question. Reliability also means being emotionally steady. People trust those who don't change their mood suddenly. When someone's behavior depends on their emotions, they become unpredictable. Unpredictability weakens influence. But when someone stays calm, respectful, and consistent even when stressed, their influence becomes stronger because people know what to expect. Being reliable also means taking responsibility for your mistakes. Even reliable people make mistakes. But what separates them from others is how they handle those mistakes. They don't blame others. They don't avoid responsibility. They admit what happened, fix it, and learn from it. This honesty makes people trust them even more. Reliability is not perfection. It is honesty plus consistency. People admire those who own their actions. When you take responsibility quickly, people respect your maturity. They see that you value the relationship more than your ego, and people follow those who value the relationship. Reliability also means doing things even when you don't feel like it. Anyone can keep a promise when they are motivated or excited, but reliable people keep their promises even when they are tired, stressed, or busy. That discipline builds a reputation that grows with time. People notice, they remember, and they trust more deeply. You don't need to announce your reliability. You show it. Even your quiet actions carry influence. For example, if you help someone consistently, they begin to trust your presence. If you show up for your responsibilities without excuses, people begin to rely on you naturally. When your reliability becomes part of your identity, people listen to you without question because they respect your consistency. Reliability also affects your communication. When you respond to messages regularly, people trust your attention. When you speak clearly and follow up on what you said, people trust your word. Many people destroy their influence simply by being inconsistent with communication. They say something one day and forget it the next. This creates confusion and damages trust. To be influential, people need to feel that you remember, you care, you follow through. and you are present. Reliability and communication builds this feeling. Reliability also builds confidence in the people around you. When they know they can count on you, they feel supported, they feel less alone, they feel more secure. And because you make them feel secure, they naturally move toward you. They come to you for advice. They come to you for help. They come to you with their problems. This is influence created through emotional reliability. Some people try to influence others through big actions or dramatic gestures, but these moments don't last if they are not supported by smaller, consistent actions. Influence built on reliability lasts. It is not temporary. It becomes a part of how people think about you. Reliability also helps you become a leader without asking for leadership. When people see that your actions are solid, they naturally trust your judgment. They look to you for decisions. They follow your example. They respect your behavior. Leadership built on reliability carries quiet authority. You don't need to force it. People follow willingly. Being reliable also means respecting your own standards. When you set expectations for yourself and meet them, your confidence grows. Confidence built on reliability feels real. It is not loud confidence. It is quiet, steady confidence. You know you can depend on yourself, and others feel that too. Influence starts inside you before it moves outward. Reliability teaches you discipline, and discipline builds emotional strength. Emotionally strong people influence others because they show stability, they show patience, they show courage, they show maturity. Discipline creates reliability, and reliability creates influence that feels natural and trustworthy. There will be moments in life when keeping your word becomes difficult. Maybe something unexpected happens. Maybe you feel tired. Maybe you feel overwhelmed. But these moments test your reliability. If you stay committed even when it is hard, people see your true character. They see your loyalty. They see your integrity. And your influence deepens. Influence also grows when you keep confidence between you and someone else. When someone shares something personal or sensitive, reliability means you protect their privacy. You don't repeat it. You don't use it against them. You don't break their trust. Emotional reliability is just as important as action reliability. When people feel emotionally safe with you, they trust you with more of themselves. Being reliable also shapes how you react during crises. When things go wrong, people look for the reliable person. They look for the steady voice. They look for the person who does not collapse under pressure. If you remain calm and reliable when situations become difficult, your influence rises above everyone else's. People do not follow those who fall apart easily. They follow those who remain strong and responsible even in stress. Another reason reliability creates influence is because it shows commitment. It shows that you are not easily shaken. It shows that you mean what you say. Commitment is rare today, and rare qualities create strong influence. When you are committed to your work, to your relationships, to your growth, people notice. They respect you. They want to follow someone who shows commitment, not someone who gives up quickly. Reliability also builds your reputation. People talk about reliable people. They say, you can count on them. They keep their word. They always show up. This reputation spreads quietly. You never have to advertise it. Your actions do the talking. And this reputation gives you influence even among people who don't know you personally yet. Influence does not always require charm. It does not always require charisma. It requires trust, and trust is built most strongly through reliability. When people trust that your actions will match your words, your voice gains weight, your suggestions gain value, your presence gains meaning. Reliability also brings respect from the people who don't even speak much to you. They observe your behavior from a distance. They notice your consistency. They see how you treat people. They see how you carry yourself. Respect forms in their mind, and your influence grows quietly. Reliable people become anchors in relationships. They become the steady point that others return to. They become the safe place in emotional storms, And because of this, their influence becomes deep, stable, and lasting. When you become reliable, you become influential in the most meaningful way. You become someone people trust, someone people value, someone people follow with confidence. Your influence becomes something you earn, not something you demand, something you build, not something you chase, something that lasts, not something that fades. Reliability is the silent power that strengthens every part of your influence, and the more reliable you become, the stronger your influence grows, day by day, quietly, steadily, and deeply. Chapter 12: How your character becomes your greatest influence. Influence begins with words, emotions, tone, and presence. But at the deepest level, influence grows from something far more powerful: your character. Character is who you are when no one is watching. It is your values, your honesty, your discipline, your choices, and the quiet decisions you make every day. People may notice your skills or your confidence, but they trust your character, and trust is what creates influence that lasts long after the conversation ends. Your character is shaped slowly. It grows through the small choices you make, not the big ones. When you decide to be honest even when it's hard, your character grows. When you stay kind, even when someone frustrates you, your character grows. When you keep your promises, even when you're tired, your character grows. When you choose patience instead of anger, courage instead of fear, and respect instead of ego, your character becomes strong. And strong character shines through everything you do. People may not immediately understand why they trust someone, but their mind and heart pick up on the consistency of that person's character. Someone with strong character does not need to say much. Their presence tells the story. Their actions speak louder than anything they could say. Their influence feels natural, honest, and steady. Character-based influence doesn't need effort. It doesn't need to push. It doesn't need to prove. It simply exists because people can feel who you are. They can feel your truth. They can feel your stability. They can feel your integrity. And those feelings are what draw people toward you without you even trying. True character shows in difficult moments. When life is easy, everyone looks calm, kind, and stable. But when things go wrong, when stress rises, when emotions get high, that's when your real character appears. People pay attention to how you act when you're under pressure. Do you stay respectful? Do you stay patient? Do you stay honest? Do you take responsibility? These moments define your influence more than anything else. People follow those who remain steady during storms. They trust those who do not break their values under pressure. When someone keeps their principles even when it is difficult, their influence becomes powerful, because people know that this is someone who cannot be shaken easily. Your character also appears in how you treat people who cannot give you anything. Kindness toward the powerful is easy. Kindness toward the people who have nothing to offer reveals character. People notice how you treat waiters, cleaners, strangers, young people, old people, and anyone who is often ignored. When your kindness stays the same no matter who the person is, people feel the strength of your character. People follow those who treat everyone with dignity. Influence does not come from treating important people well. Influence comes from treating all people well. Your character also appears in your honesty. Honesty does not mean being harsh. It means being truthful in a way that respects others. It means speaking clearly without hiding your intentions. It means choosing truth instead of convenience. When people see that your honesty is consistent, their trust in you deepens. They feel safe around someone who does not lie, manipulate, or deceive. But honesty also means being honest with yourself. Many people pretend to be something they are not. They hide their weaknesses. They avoid facing their flaws. They avoid their mistakes. But character grows when you face yourself honestly. When you admit your weaknesses, you become stronger. When you learn from your mistakes, you grow. When you take responsibility for your actions, you gain respect from yourself and from others. Your character is also shaped by what you choose not to do. You choose not to gossip. You choose not to speak poorly about others. You choose not to react with anger when someone triggers you. You choose not to quit when things get tough. These choices are quiet, but they build influence inside you. Every time you say no to negativity and yes to strength, your character becomes more influential. Character also shows in the promises you make to yourself. If you tell yourself you will wake up early and you follow through, your character grows. If you tell yourself you will improve a skill and you practice, your character grows. If you tell yourself you will face a fear and you take the first step, your character grows. Each promise you keep with yourself becomes part of your identity, and the stronger your identity, the stronger your influence. Character is not built in a day. It is built in the small, silent habits you practice daily. It is built in the decisions you make even when no one will know. Those decisions follow you wherever you go. They shape your tone, your presence, your energy, and your confidence. People feel character even before they understand it. Your influence becomes powerful when people know they can trust your character. They know you won't betray them. They know you won't pretend to be someone you're not. They know you won't switch your values depending on who is watching. They know your heart is consistent. This consistency becomes the foundation of long-term influence. Character also strengthens your voice. When someone with weak character speaks, people listen politely, but don't take their words seriously. But when someone with strong character speaks, people feel depth in their words. They sense the truth behind them. They sense the experience behind them. They sense the honesty behind them. Words carry more weight when they come from strong character. Character also helps you influence without speaking. People watch your lifestyle. They watch your discipline. They watch your habits. They watch how you work. They watch how you treat others. They watch how you react to challenges. Your life becomes your message, and people listen to that message silently. Some people try to influence through charm. Some try through manipulation. Some try through showiness. These forms of influence do not last. They may work for a moment, but they fade quickly. Influence built on character lasts a lifetime, because people trust character more than charm. Your character also shows in how you apologize. Many people struggle to say sorry. They avoid responsibility. They blame others. But someone with strong character apologizes when they're wrong. They don't see apology as weakness. They see it as strength. And people respect this strength deeply. Influence grows when someone shows humility, honesty, and accountability. These traits create a level of respect that cannot be faked. Character also shows in how you handle power. When someone gets a position, a title, or recognition, their true character often reveals itself. Some people use power to control or belittle. Strong character uses power to help, uplift, and support. When your influence grows, your character decides whether that influence becomes a blessing or a burden. Character shows in how you handle success and failure. When you succeed, do you stay humble? Do you treat people the same way? Do you stay grateful? People pay attention to your behavior when things go well. Humility during success makes your influence even stronger. Failure also reveals character. When you fail, do you give up? Do you blame others? Or do you rise again with patience and courage? People are inspired by those who keep going even after falling. They feel strength in that resilience, and that strength gives you influence that touches people's hearts. Your character also shows in the things you stand for. When you stand up for what is right, even when it is hard, people admire your courage. They respect your backbone. They trust your values. People follow those who stand on principles, not those who follow the crowd. Character makes your influence silent, but powerful. It removes the need to prove yourself. It removes the need to trace approval. It removes the need to impress people. When your character is strong, people recognize it naturally. They trust you without needing explanations. They follow you without needing persuading. They open up to you without fear. Your character also shapes your relationships. People stay close to those who are honest, patient, respectful, and reliable. They stay close to those who treat them with kindness and fairness. They stay close to those who make them feel safe emotionally. Relationships shaped by strong character last longer and feel deeper. And the closer people feel to you, the stronger your influence becomes. Influence built on character spreads naturally. It grows through your actions, through your words, through your tone, and through your presence. People feel your character every time they interact with you. It becomes a quiet guide for them. They begin to trust your advice, follow your suggestions, and look up to you as an example. When people feel your character, they remember you long after you leave the room. They speak well of you even when you're not there. They recommend you. They support you. They protect your name. They believe in your goodness. That is influence rooted in character, and it is the strongest form of influence you can ever build. Your character is the story you write about yourself through your actions. Every day, through every small decision, you write a new sentence in that story. Over time, that story becomes your reputation, and your reputation becomes your influence. When you build your character, you build a type of influence that no one can take away from you. Not time, not failure, not misunderstanding, not jealousy, not circumstances. Influence built on character stands strong because it is built on truth. The most influential people in history were not always the most talented or the most exciting, but they had character. They lived with integrity. They stood for something. They kept their word. They led with humility. And because of this, their influence lasted far beyond their lifetime. Your influence, too, can grow in this quiet, powerful way. Not through noise, not through force, not through manipulation, but through character, through honesty, through patience, through compassion, through consistency, through strength that stays calm, through actions that match your values every single day. When your character becomes your foundation, your influence becomes unforgettable.